Hello everyone and welcome to this brand new edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host Kendra Dix. Let's get to what's going on in wrestling with the ring reports and hot topics for your news and information. Alright, let's go to the Raw ring report. Alright, many of you know that Survivor Series is just under 2 weeks away, live exclusively on the WWE Network, where Raw versus SmackDown for brand supremacy, a lot of interpromotional matches, and a lot of interpromotional Survivor Series elimination matches. Well, on Raw this week, Kurt Angle appeared on Miz TV, and the GM spared no expense talking about why Raw is the top brand, why it's the flagship show, and his promise to Stephanie McMahon, and he will stop at nothing to do what he has to do to make sure that Raw wins at Survivor Series. Well, the GM, Miz kind of discredited for a minute, and the GM put Miz in a match against Miz's favorite guy. You know what I'm talking about, Braun Strowman. And the Miz was a little bit worried and concerned. And who can blame Miz? Braun Strowman been chasing Miz after Miz orchestrated the whole thing to put Braun in a garbage truck and leave him compacted. And Braun returned and won his revenge, and Braun was going to get his revenge, but we'll talk about that later on in the show. Later on when the report concludes. Let's get to the reported matches. Jason Jordan beat Elias in a guitar on the pole match. Well, if you're Kurt Angle's son, you start out the first match, illegitimate son, I mean to say, you start the first match, and then you keep rocking and rolling. And you win. Asuka beat a jobber from out of nowhere, just easy finish like she did Emma. And Alicia Fox called Asuka attention. Asuka probably wasn't hearing her; she was just in her own little world, her own little zone. And Alicia Fox made it known that Asuka will earn a spot in the Raw Women's Elimination Team at Survivor Series. So Alicia Fox, you may think she kooky and crazy, but in the end, she knows what she's doing. She's like a strategist. She's kind of like strategizing the team, putting them together, and that's what you get. So, Alicia Fox on the good side, you got Nia Jax, you got Asuka, the undefeated Asuka, you got the massive appeal of Nia Jax, and then you got kooky, crazy Alicia Fox leading the group. And then you got 2 more spots you got to fill. So, we'll get to that later on the show. Speaking of that, Samoa Joe returned, ambushed. Well, he returned last week. We talked about that. He ambushed Titus O'Neil, who was scheduled to have a match with. And Apollo Crews was with Titus, and Samoa Joe just beat both of them. Just took him in the waist. And he was saying he was trying to make a statement. And wanted to fight anyone from the back. So, who did he get? Right there. Finn Balor. Finn Balor came out, answered the challenge, and took on Samoa Joe. The match ended in a no contest. Kurt Angle had to come out and restrain both guys with security. And Kurt Angle made it known that both guys were named on Team Raw for Survivor Series. Man, you know, that constant feud, that constant rivalry, I hope they don't bite the GM in his butt when he has to lead those two and they can't work their differences aside. So let's pray, let's double cross. You know, I'm for whoever, but you know, you'll know next week on Predict the Outcome who I believe will win at Survivor Series in these interpromotional matches. And after the break, Kurt Angle came out and told Jason Jordan, his son, he showed favoritism, nepotism, which you may call it, and said that he was the last member of Team Raw. So Kurt Angle has himself. He has his son Jason Jordan. He has Finn Balor. He has Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman to complete his team for Raw, going against Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. But we'll get Team SmackDown side of who they had picked, and you know we're gonna break it on the SmackDown report. Who is that final member on the Team SmackDown side? All right. Well, Sasha Banks teamed up with Bayley to take on crazy Captain Alicia Fox and Nia Jax, and she beat Sasha beat Alicia Fox with the bank statement, And Alicia Fox came out and realized that she needed Sasha Banks, and she asked Sasha Banks to be on team, and Sasha agreed. So Sasha Banks is a part of Team Raw for the women's division at Survivor Series. And it made Bayley seem a little bit upset that why she's not getting her shot in the weeks in to come. But I want to break it here that Bayley has one more chance to get that chance, the opportunity. Bayley has to compete in a triple threat match between her, Mickie James, and Dana Brooke this Monday on Raw in Atlanta. Which one of these three women wants it bad to be on Team Raw for Survivor Series? You know, I'm picking Bayley. I hope Bayley gets it. You know, I like Mickie James, Dana Brooke. She was just put in the mix just for the fill in and the call. So that's what I'm saying. Breaking news right now: Mickie James versus Bayley versus Dana Brooke for the spot for Team Raw at Survivor Series. So who knows what they're gonna be? All right. And speaking of surprises, UK champion Pete Dunne made an appearance by Kurt Angle and defeated Cruiserweight champion Enzo Amore while Kalisto was at ringside. So that's going to build up for Kalisto to get some upper hand over Enzo, who's been a little bit tipsy with 205 and Raw with the UK division that's coming over and then berating them and stuff like that. So let's hope Enzo gets his mindset on that. Focus on Kalisto. You never know. The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro defeated The Shield, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins to win the Raw Tag Team Championship with a little help from the New Day. The New Day came out trying to do this Raw raid again that did on SmackDown, raiding in them. And the Raw crew, the Raw roster came out and tried to prevent them from not coming into ringside. The New Day was standing around the fans, and Sheamus hit that Bro Kit on Seth Rollins and got the 1-2-3. And Sheamus and Cesaro are the new Raw Tag Team Champions, and they will be representing Raw at Survivor Series against the Usos. Let's hope on the SmackDown report. The Usos was in a tag team time match, but we'll get to that. But the Bar will go against the Usos at this point right now at Survivor Series, tag team champions versus tag team champions for interpromotional game. So that was the Raw Ring Report. When we return, we're going to have the SmackDown Ring Report. We're going to have the Impact Ring Report and Hot Topics. You know, on Hot Topics, we're going to talk about everything. This is a pro wrestling show. Stay tuned. Back to the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Kendra Dix. Once again, use the hashtag PSW, and you see the Connect TV logo on your side, the War Link logo. We'll never go wrong with the War Link logo. That's why we the real. We small, but we trying to get there. We're growing. So we hope and we're glad you can join us watching this show. Thank you. If you're a pure wrestling fan, thank you. We're doing the best we can. We're just a small scale. We want to pay homage to all the other wrestling shows that's out there on the internet. Hey, there's more room for everybody, so hey, everybody can just get along to get along. Get along to get along. Alright, let's go to the SmackDown Ring Report. Alright, on the SmackDown Ring Report, Shane McMahon opened the show and vowed that SmackDown won't never be considered the B show. It won't be called the Superior Show, the A show, D show. And he wants his team. He said that he started the war. He's going to finish at Survivor Series, guaranteed. So he brought out the New Day to thank them for invading Raw again on SmackDown behalf. New Day explained that, you know, they invaded Raw and cost the Shield their tag team championships that we talked about later before the break. And Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens came out there and made claims saying that Shane doesn't care about them. That's why they don't want to be on SmackDown. And Shane said, you know what, I got a point. You know what? Shane made a match between Kofi Kingston and Sami Zayn. And Kofi Kingston won. But, you know, what? I don't know. But later on in the show, we're going to talk about, on Hot Topics, why Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens kind of like on bad terms with WWE real life. And I'll talk about that later on the show. Alright. Rusev wanted to be on Team SmackDown. But all he had to do was in a scheduled match go against AJ Styles, but AJ Styles has been announced that he's been in a championship match, so plans change. So Shane McMahon booked Rusev against Randy Orton. If Rusev wins against Orton, he will be added to Team SmackDown. Rusev did get the job done. Randy Orton stays intact, and Rusev nowhere to be on Team SmackDown. Oh man. Rusev kind of like, man, this sucks. Just add me on the team. Alright, well, we want to let you know right now that there is a team member, the 15th member of Team SmackDown, and he has been named. John Cena will return to Survivor Series as he is a free agent, but he's come to, as representing SmackDown to go against Team Raw at Survivor Series. And he's the 5th man that Shane McMahon announced. So Cena's got a lot of credibility, been in the world title matches, been in Survivor Series matches. So Cena had a Survivor Series match one time against Big Show when his team went against Big Show team. So who knows what that could, you know, lead to. We'll find out at Survivor Series with that, and we'll predict the outcome next week's show. But move over to that. James Ellsworth been chauvinistic. He's been chauvinistic. And he told WWE Universe he is superior than his opponent, Becky Lynch. There was a tit for tat between him, Carmella, and Becky Lynch on Twitter. Got to the point Becky Lynch challenged him. He accepted. Becky Lynch wanted Carmella, but Carmella insisted putting Ellsworth in the match. And James Ellsworth lost again. Man, Ellsworth cannot get a break. And, you know, even the women are just defeating him. But, you know, Hot Topic will talk about why James Ellsworth is, you know, he might be done with the company. Who knows? Alright, the Usos defending their SmackDown Tag Team Champions against who they consider the American Alpha 2.0, Benjamin and Gable. And the Usos won by DQ, which means the title didn't change hands. Benjamin and Gable are not the new Tag Team Champions. Yikes, I think when you a new to form tag team, pure wrestling skills, you got Shelton Benjamin, who's tag team with Charlie Haas back in the day, America's Greatest Tag Team, the greatest tag team, I call America's Greatest Tag Team, and you got Chad Gable with American Alpha. That dynamic, it's the dynamic there. It's just kind of like, could you see Jason Jordan with Charlie Haas? Who knows? But I guess it works because it's that dynamic. So we'll give them a shot. Hey, they just close to winning championships. Alright. Shane McMahon informed Charlotte and Natalya that they will have a championship match next week. So there are more championship implications. Could Charlotte take the title away from Natalya and represent SmackDown against Raw's Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, who she had to go against Mickie James and kept her belt? So it's a lot of implications. Things can change in an instant. So we'll see next week what's ahead with Charlotte versus Natalya one-on-one for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And plus, also my add, Baron Corbin, is he going to keep his title intact to go against Miz? Or is going to be a different change where he goes against Sin Cara, who's frustrated, mad, and wants to get his hands on Baron Corbin? He gets that opportunity next week on SmackDown. Alright. The main event of the evening. It was announced last week here on the show that AJ Styles will challenge Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship. And AJ Styles had a good match with Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal stood and held his own in that ring, but it wasn't to no avail. AJ Styles finally ended the 170-day reign of Jinder Mahal, and Styles is the new WWE Champion. And Styles beat his henchman, to win his second WWE Championship. And he was the first superstar to win the championship outside of North America. The WWE Championship never changed hands outside North America, but this was the first time. It always stayed in between Canada and the US. So big ups for AJ Styles as he moves on as the new WWE Champion to take on the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. Now this got to be wondering, like, what about Jinder Mahal? What's next with Jinder Mahal? Is he going to ask for his rematch clause, or what's going to happen? Because a lot of implications going on, and we're going to talk about that as Hot Topics roll on. Well, that ends the SmackDown Ring report. Let's go over to Hot Topics. Alright, on Hot Topics, we talked about Jinder Mahal lost the WWE Championship, and there's been a lot of indications that he may, due to the wellness policy, or it's due to him low ticket sales. And Jinder Mahal made a statement and said that it's not none that he's gonna intend to get his championship back, and so you got to wait and see what that's gonna be with Jinder Mahal and stuff like that. Well, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens went home. They was asked to go home. WWE feel like they was doing business for themselves. So who knows what Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens done, and they went on disciplinary reasons. So we hope that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens get their act together and get their act straightened up, because their buddy Jimmy Jacobs, he appeared in Impact, and we'll talk about that on the Impact Ring Report later on next. Alright. Impact. Speaking of Impact, they're paying actors, local actors in Ottawa, to fill in to be fans. That's crazy. When you do some therapeutic like that, you want folks to pay to come see the event, not you pay them to see your event. Don't work like that. It's not like a game show or like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune or a talk show like Wendy Williams, stuff like that. They ain't paying them. They just saying, we just need a studio audience. Impact, come on now. I want to say they need to get that big star. And I know what they should get. They should be getting CM Punk. If they get CM Punk, sky's the limit. The needle will be moving quicker than you never expect. Alright, former TNA WWE star Matt Morgan wins a seat in office. Morgan is now the new commissioner of a school. Big up Matt Morgan for winning. They never say never in wrestling. Jesse Ventura ran for governor and won. A lot of people ran. B-Bine Blair, Scott Steiner's a school official. So you never know. I know a lot of wrestlers have tried to run for office, like Jerry Lawler, and unsuccessful. And now these days, Booker T, who's running for mayor of Houston, and Kane. I'm like, why is he begging? He was running for mayor. I guess his bid ain't coming so well either. So, Alright, Brother Love. Brother Love, Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard responded to Diddy's new name change, called Brother Love. Let's take a look. Brother Love made it known that he's keeping that name. He's the real Brother Love, and he is. Bruce Pritchard, big out shout out to Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Tapson on Something to Wrestle With. Listen to the podcast as much as I can listen to, because tells unique stories, unique wrestling stories that you never knew about the event and how it came to that conclusion. Big up to them. Alright, Chris Jericho made an appearance in New Japan Wrestling and challenged his biggest critic, Kenny Omega, to a match for Wrestle Kingdom 2008. So we're going to see Jericho versus Omega. This is going to be an instant clash. Both of them from Canada, and they're going to tear the house down. I'll tell you that. Ric Flair and ESPN receiving good praise for his 30 for 30 special. The Nature Boy Ric Flair special, the Nature Boy, did good. It had a 1.8 million view, and I was watching it as I go. I was laughing. I was not crying. I was like entertained. It was heartfelt. It was a heartfelt message that the Nature Boy did. And big up to Ric Flair, ESPN, and Robbie Moore, the director, and all the talents that appeared Bigs up to you, because that was a good one, good special. And James Ellsworth, many say he might be done with the company because he's getting beat up by the women, point in, point out. So who knows? Do Ellsworth stays or do he go? So who knows? Alright, and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, has a special. Yes, Ted DiBiase has a special on what his life story. So look out for that, Ted DiBiase. He might do a Walmart distribution. Who knows? And Bram is released from Impact Wrestling. Bram said he was done. No more Bram in Impact Wrestling. He ain't been seen since March. So Bram's done with Impact Wrestling. Roman Reigns' return is imminent. He'll be coming around this Monday, reunited with the Shield mates. So Roman Reigns looking to get revenge on the New Day for causing the Shield their tag team titles. Look out for that. Raw vs. SmackDown. New Day versus Shield. Big up. Madison Rayne making a comeback in wrestling. She returned to Impact with the previous tapings and stuff, and she made an appearance in Ring of Honor. So look out for Madison Rayne. She might be heading back. She's, wife of Josh Matthews. Josh Matthews ain't finna let his wife just go right back to where he worked at, and he's still bitter with WWE and stuff. But he moved on, but he's still bitter. Let it go, Josh. Let it go. Let it go. Like I just tell people all the time. People just can't let stuff go. And Impact Wrestling officially are moving back to Canada, as they said the tapings that they want to make Canada their priority, and they're using cost-cutting measures because they're done. So they want to use the Pavilion as their home base. I guess it's hard to run off a event in the States because people just don't want to come and see a wrestling show. Now, I can see if you would bring like some heavy hitters, like if you bring CM Punk and you fill it up to like a big arena, they will come because they want to see CM Punk and stuff. Like I said, if I brought TNA, believe me, it's gonna be in a home base that I know where wrestling people would love wrestling. Either, I can't spoil what I want to do, but it'll be down the road. So, right. And finally, Hideo Itami and Rockstar Spud are coming to 205 Live. Hideo Itami, who's been great in Japan and came to WWE and built himself in NXT, he's coming to 205 Live. Big ups. And Rockstar Spud, he can add that entertainment, comedic flavor to 205 Live, what they need. And Rockstar Spud had visa issues with Impact during the Dixie Carter era, and now WWE stepped in because they see the talent. They see that, and Triple H has a good eye for talent. So big ups to them. Alright, that ends the Hot Topics report. Alright, let's go to the Impact Ring Report. Alright, on this week's Impact Ring Report was the fallout for Bound for Glory. Now, Bound for Glory, many critics are saying Bound for Glory either was good, it was so-so, some say it was bad, it was really bad, poor booking. But, you be the judge because many people got a lot of opinions about Impact and how they do business and stuff like that. But Impact is a different alternative to WWE. You gotta remember that. Impact is not seen amongst a WWE crowd. When you think wrestling, you always immediately think WWE. You don't think Impact. Many people that's wrestling Impact used to, some ties with WWE. So, hey, on the show, Predict the Outcome, I had predicted who was going to win what. Gail Kim won the Knockouts title. I thought Alberto El Patron was going to win the title, but he ended up costing Johnny Impact the title and gave it to Eli Drake. I thought LAX was going to win, but OVE won, and they brought Sam Callahan, their running mate, Who else I thought they was gonna bring? Jimmy Jacobs appeared, so I don't know what Jimmy Jacobs gonna be doing. But who knows? He calls himself the Princess, and you never know if everything don't work out with WWE with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I think since Jimmy Jacobs is their friends, that they might go to Impact and make some noise. Who knows? Who knows? Well, Impact. I'm trying to think who else. And then they had this impromptu match that I never heard of. So who knows? Tyson Dukes or something. But let's get to the story. Let's get to what happened. The results. Bound for Glory to me was a decent show, but they was missing some parts. I was like, well, I would have done this. Abyss won against the Monster Ball against Grado, which I knew he was gonna win. That was easy. But let's get over. Eli Drake and Chris Adonis celebrated Drake's victory over at Bound for Glory over Johnny Impact. But Pete Williams came in and interrupts and wants a title shot against Drake. Eli Drake's looking at him refusing. See, the difference between that is I get that sometimes they can intertwine the X division, the heavyweight division, because they know division, the X division is just they cruiserweights, but they trying to make them seem like they heavyweights. My problem with TNA is you need to have different classes. So you got your heavyweights right here. You got two titles that could be centered around the heavyweights, the main stars and the stars that's going to get there, like workhorses. And then you got the X title built for the cruiserweights, and then you got the women's championship, and then you got the tag team championship as the divisional title. So you just can't. Sometimes you can swim around with it, but it got to make sense. But they won't do that because Peter Williams is a X division, a Canadian, and so they want to do it like that. But I don't see Peter Williams as a world title contender. You can do that spot and just do it like that. No offense to Peter. Peter, you just more like S division. You just got back, and why would you get a world championship shot that quick? I'm just being realistic. I can see Eli's point, like stick to your division, not come over here. Alright, after the break, it was announced that Drake will defend the championship against Williams next week. So Pete Williams, he gonna make it or break it. Let's hope he can get through this match and realize that, hey, I can't go for this championship. I need to stick to what I was trying to intend to go. But Petey's fellow X Division mates, Sanjay Dutt, met Matt Sydal, and Sydal won. And EC3 music hits, and Carter calls out Sydal and says that he's a loser. He lost at Bound for Glory. He lost against Bobby Lashley, this and that. Now, it's the same thing. They're trying to put the smaller guys against the big guys, the heavyweights. I'm not knocking that. It's just, it's too soon, it's too quick, it's too often. You got to make sense. I can see if they was going to do that, like they could have did something like a locker room scene, like, everyone in the dressing room, and EC3 probably could have said a rude comment about that, the Matt Sydal, and Matt Sydal, didn't take kindly to it, and that could have, started rather than having them in the ring and then, his music come out, la 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 la. It's just got to be logic. Be logic. That's all I'm asking about. Be logic. Like, who's booking this? Because I could have been booking it better than them. And Impact going back to the old school by showing a classic match between Team Canada versus Hector Garza and Sanjay Dutt and some other guy. It's just like, what is you doing? Well, I get it. Trying to scratch for time. I get it. I get it. Ed Edwards defended his GHW championship against Phantasma. Now, I think they were trying to continue that rivalry where they had a 6-man tag team match when Team Impact won over Team X Triple A. Yeah, okay. that's why I say like this. Like, if you gonna promote somebody like that, you know, put Eddie Edwards against Eli Drake, and Eddie Edwards be saying, you know, you defeat me, but I want one more shot, and that could be a champion versus champion match. Like, common knowledge right there. Like, and I would, you know, something like that that makes sense. Like, that's what I would do. Like, because I see Eddie Edwards is the future of the company. I see Eli Drake's future. Let them battle out for the championship. Like, I'm a world champion, you a world champion. Let's have a unification match. But they trying to stretch it. I don't know what they trying to do. It's just, it is what it is. OVE defeated some jobbers, and now, like at Bound for Glory, they came in good guys, and LAX came in bad guys, and it was like a double turn. So Sam Canelan came in the picture. The OVE guys are the bad guys, and LAX is the good guys. I never had thought that, but I love LAX because Conan is so crazy and so funny. You gotta give Conan his props. He just come up with stuff original, like, yeah, see, they bring in new people in, new ideas. Conan just like your crazy uncle that just ain't gonna, he ain't gonna stop. He ain't gonna stop. He gonna say what he wanna say and mean it. So, hey, it is what it is. But LAX will take on OVE in a 6-man tag team match. That's next week. Also, they went back to another classic again with Piper's Pit and baseball host and analyst Chris Rose from the past, when Chris Rose on the Dispatch Damn Sports Show. I used to watch the show all the time with him and John Sapp. And they tried to do that. I was like, okay. And then they moved over and they went to Border City Wrestling, again traveling across the pond, and had Allie taking on some job, and Allie won. It's just like they scratching it. I get it. And finally, now I believe if things would have went this way, what they should have done was, I get it, they trying to build two stars that WWE built, Alberto El Patron and Johnny Impact. They had them and changed in the backstage brawl. Alberto, El Patron was getting his licks, Johnny Impact getting his licks. They even had the superstars get involved. They had Braxton Sutter, they had Caleb Khan get involved, and they got beat up by both guys. And both guys continued on beating up each other. And they had security guard people in, and they had people. They were just everywhere. He was doing, Johnny Impact doing his parkour, Adam, and then they went into the stage, and the fight led eventually to the stage and into the ring. And Johnny Impact called Alberto saying he's not the pride. His father thinks he's a P, but you know what? I can't say it on here, but you know what I mean. And things just erupted. So this saga, this thing gonna continue on with Alberto and Johnny Impact to come. But for next week's What's Ahead on Impact, the Impact title is online, where Eli Drake defends against P. Williams, which that's a mismatch. I think Eli's going to retain. Lashley and his American Top King crew return to gloat about what they done to Moose and Stephen Bonner on their victory over at Bound for Glory. And Gail Kim makes a decision that's intimate regarding the Knockouts title. Well, we know what that's going to be, but we'll see on Impact with that. And a huge 6-man tag between OVD and LAX. That's your Impact Ring Report. So that does it for this week's Pro Wrestling Show. I'm glad you can join me here. Next week we're gonna have predict the outcome for the WWE Survivor Series 2007. You know what my prediction is gonna be over this outcome for the Survivor Series between Raw vs SmackDown and promotional style matches. But you know, hey, we'll get to that next week. But for the Pro Wrestling Show, I'm Kendrick Dix saying so long, and we'll see you next week.